Hello and welcome to our Insightful Babes podcast. My name is Diana.
And I am Maria.
And we are your hosts. We have created a brand new community for all of the hustlers, the dreamers, the outsiders, the visionaries out there. Coming from a Hispanic traditional beliefs, we've decided to share our entrepreneurship journey, ups and downs, and inspire, empower, and help others who are not being themselves because of fear or because of traditional beliefs. Hello guys, welcome back to the Insightful Babe podcast. Today we have a special guest. Her name is Christina. She's an attorney based out of Orlando, Florida. She's a total boss lady, and I'm super excited to hear from her.
Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. I'm Christina Alvarez. I'm an attorney in Orlando, Florida, and I own a law firm called Alvarez Law. I am also the immediate past president of the Hispanic BAR Association of Central Florida, as well as the current president of the Hispanic BAR Association of Central Florida Foundation, which handles scholarships for law students in the Orlando area, and also the Central Florida liaison to the Hispanic National Bar Association. Super excited to be here with you guys and talk about a little bit about my journey and hopefully it'll help, somebody else.
Yeah, likewise. We're super glad that you decided to be with us, and we're excited to hear all about your journey as an attorney, and we're just ready for it all. So tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe like your hobbies, so our listeners could get to know you, who you are, where did you grow up, have you always lived in Florida, do you like it?
So I'm originally from South Florida, Fort Lauderdale, and I moved up to Orlando to go to UCF. That was over, oh my gosh, what year is that? 2005 I left South Florida. So I've been in Orlando since 2005. I became an attorney in 2014. I also went to law school here in Orlando at Berry Law. And my father is Cuban American. So my grandmother was born in Cuba. And my mother is Italian. My mother was born in Italy. So we are very, very Italian. So first, I guess that, she's first generation Italian. So it's a really cool mix. It's been interesting, so to speak, my whole life with the cultural differences. My hobbies, I just really like hanging out with my friends and my family and my dog. That fills up my cup. And I love fashion, so I have like an Instagram where I post pictures of my outfits sometimes, and I used to model a little bit, and so I'm really super into fashion. If I could make that a second career, I totally would. And so that's kind of about me. Oh, I'm married. I've been married for 8 years. I've been with my husband almost 13 years. We met in college, and we've been together ever since.
Oh, super cute. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but everybody that comes on Insightful Babes, we all love dogs.
Yes.
It's so cool.
My poor puppy, he's 12 and he's going deaf, and it's so sad because I've had him since he was 3 months old, and so I'm very attached to him, and it's so sad he's going deaf.
Oh my God. Mine is 11.
So and I'm like, you little sweet old man. I'm like, you're 84 years old. You could have whatever you want. I give him chicken, pancakes. It's so bad.
Pancakes?
Yeah, he loves pancakes.
That's so cute. What type of dog do you have?
He's a poodle Bichon mix.
Oh, he's a little baby.
Yeah, he's 16 pounds. He's white and fluffy, and he sleeps in the bed with us. And we call him Mr. King the puppy. Because he's the king of everything. And my husband and him my husband works from home, so they're together all day long. That's like his little assistant, so he's super attached to my husband.
That's so adorable.
Okay, so just to be clear, we all love dogs here.
Yes, we totally do.
They're a good comfort animal.
They are. I love animals. I love all animals, but I love dogs mostly. Dogs are...
They're just so loyal.
Yes.
Super loyal. So this is your first time being in a podcast, correct?
It is. It's my first time being a guest speaker. It was one of my 2020 goals, and here we are.
I saw that today. I was so excited. I'm like, yay.
Starting off the year right.
Yes, and then I'm trying at the moment. I'm getting a media kit together because I'm trying to be on the local news as a legal expert. And so I'm putting that out there to God. That's something that I want to do as well, hopefully this year. So
The Insightfulbabes will be praying for you and sending some good advice for you.
Yes. That is so awesome. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and start talking a little bit of how your whole journey began with being an attorney. Was this like a dream of yours to become an attorney, or was it just like a goal, or how did you decide to become an attorney?
So I joke around that I've been an attorney since I was 10 years old, and that I've always had my own law firm since I was 10 years old. My elementary school teacher, my 5th grade teacher, she really cultivated that in her students. So she had a program, I can't remember what it was called, but basically we each had like a job to do, and we could pick that job, and then she would set up like a store, and we could buy things with tickets. That was the currency. And so people could exchange tickets for services, or you could go to the bank and buy things. And it was a really cool idea. And I remember I was like, all right, well, I'm going to be the attorney. And I set up my own little shop there, and my clients, they were my clients at the time. my classmates, they would give me tickets for representing them in like homework cases. And I loved it. It was really fun. And actually I just always wanted to be an attorney. Throughout my life, I always had leadership positions. Even that 5th grade class, I was president of the class. Was always involved in student government. I just loved everything about leadership. I loved the idea of speaking on behalf of other people, and being, that voice for them in their time of need. I have a little, she's not little, she's a year and a half younger than me. My sister, I used to speak on her behalf all the time when we would get in trouble. And, my dad or my mom would be like, oh, you guys are in trouble. And I would defend her. And they would say, let your sister speak for herself. And I was like, no, this is what happened. I would state her case for her, And so I've always been like that. I love to, speak on behalf of other people and make sure that no one is having their rights infringed on, and that they get everything that's owed to them and that they're entitled to. And then I did in high school, I was also vice president of the debate class, the debate team there. I did debate class there. It's just something I've always wanted to do. So as soon as I came out of high school, I went to UCF. And it's funny because for a second, I thought I wanted to be in journalism. Yes, and I had the ad PR major and a minor in legal studies, because I was like, no, I definitely have to do something with law. And I remember I went to like a couple of classes in ad PR, and I was like, oh no, this is not for me. But I love the legal studies classes. So, you always end up where you're supposed to end up, right? Because I had the dream since I was a little girl. And I loved it. And from there, I ended up being a paralegal right out of law school. I'm sorry, right out of college. The years are very mixed up for me because a lot has happened. Okay, guys, like a lot.
Same.
I've worked in a lot of different law firms.
You had a fun life.
I had a very fun life, but I've been working in law firms since I was, how old was I? 20 years old. I worked at one of the biggest law firms here in Orlando. That was my first job in the legal field. And I can tell you guys, as soon as I walked through the door the first day of the job, and I just saw the green carpet and the desks and the lawyers and the books, I was like, yes, hooked for me. And I'll never forget that day. Yeah. And from there, I was a paralegal. I worked in a couple of different small law firms. I went to law school. I graduated law school, and I opened up my practice.
Would you say that you somehow got out of any type of comfort zone, or did it just come naturally, the part of just loving being an attorney?
No, you have to come out of your comfort zone. Yeah.
Yeah.
No way. I can tell you for me, so most, the path that people take when you become an attorney is to go work for somebody, and get that mentorship and get that training. And I had already, had the experience as a paralegal for 4 years before I went to law school, with a solo practitioner and his paralegal. And they taught me like the business of law. And so for me, I just felt like it was the natural next step to just have my own practice right away. But it was very difficult because in that first year, I was learning how to be an attorney, how to manage a business. I did have a paralegal at the time, so how to be a boss, how to market myself, doing all the admins, all the accounting that comes along with owning a business. And so you definitely have to step out of your comfort zone, because, you know, I didn't go to law school to learn accounting. I didn't, you know, in law school, they don't teach you how to manage staff. That's something I think you get more from life experience. And so, you know, I made some mistakes along the way. And I'm 5 years into my practice now, and 5 years into my business now. And there are things that I do look at that looking back, you know, I say, oh, I really wish I would have done this differently. Or, you know, I wish I would have spent more money on marketing at this point. I wish I would have spent more money on staff at this point. But, you know, everything's a learning lesson. And if you don't come out of that comfort zone, you don't learn those lessons to go forward.
Yeah, we totally agree with that. We do have to get out of your comfort zone in order to accomplish new things and discover new things about yourself, right? So on your first time that you did your attorney, you know, you became an attorney, was it something exciting for you to finally decide that you were just going to be your own boss? How was that? Because I know that you worked for others. Am I right?
Yeah, so I've never worked as an attorney for a law firm. I've worked for law firms as support staff. So I've worked as a file clerk, I've worked as a receptionist, I've worked as a paralegal, I've worked as a law clerk. In law school, I did intern for a solo practitioner who eventually actually became my mentor and one of my partners. Yes, and he's going to be super excited that I'm shouting him out on this podcast, let me tell you. Yeah, so I had, you know, his encouragement, thank God, because when I graduated law school, you know, I said, well, you know, maybe I did want to have my own practice, but I was terrified, you know, super terrified. And yeah, and he really encouraged me, and he had done it. And he was a sole practitioner right out of law school, same thing. He had been practicing, I think, like 4 or 5 years at that point. And he was like, listen, if I can do it, like, you can do it too. And so he helped me establish my business. I used to actually take clients in his office.
Wow.
Yeah, and clients are funny because they would come in and they would see his degree behind me, right? Like how I have my degree right now, you guys can see it behind me, and they would say, well, who's this guy? Aren't you Christina Alvarez? And I was just like mortified sometimes in those moments, because, you know, I can't be like, well, this isn't really my office. But thanks anyway, you know. And eventually I did get to the point where I had to get my own office, and so we did move out of that office so I could have my own office and my own filing cabinet and my own space. But, you know, talk about small beginnings. Like, I came from sharing an office, or not even, wasn't even my office, speaking in somebody else's office, right? To now, I just recently took over the lease on my office for the next 2 years, and now I have my paralegal law clerk. I'm about to hire a receptionist, intake person, and then I have my office manager and client relations coordinator, as well as a virtual paralegal. So, you know, and it's just so weird when you think about like where you have to start, but you had to start somewhere.
Yeah,
exactly. You know, and I remember just being so excited, like the first retainer, you know, I ever got, and the first court hearing I ever went to and said my name on the record, you know, Attorney Christina Alvarez on behalf of. And honestly, it's still exciting to this day. Like, every time I go in and say my name on the record, I'm like, yeah, that's right, that's me.
Yeah, yes.
Here, we are here today.
Spotlight on you.
Snap, snap, snap.
It's so amazing.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Like, you know, and I didn't, like, I think I told you guys in our interview, I didn't have any lawyers in my immediate family. Like, nobody in my immediate family, you know, was an attorney. I'm the one who holds the highest degree in my family. And so it was hard to navigate without, you know, that support and that guidance. Everything I learned, it was through, you know, people I work with, or through mentors. And so, yeah, I mean, I would say, looking back, like, I would have made more connections earlier on. You know, I'm glad that I did have the opportunity to work in the law firm since I was 19, because that did give me connections, but I should have stayed up on those connections. Looking back on that, yeah.
Yeah, you know, and there's a lot of people out there, maybe some of our listeners who tune in, that maybe they want to become something, but there's nobody in their families that are maybe like nurses, doctors, or teachers, or attorneys, right? So it kind of makes them quit on their dreams or their goals because they don't have that support, they don't have those connections. And you mentioned right now that you were the one who started making the connections. So that's, I think, one of the most important things for somebody to do when you don't have nobody in your family or close friends, you know, who are in what you like to do. It's good to make those connections. Am I right?
Yeah, and I would say for me, like when I did go to law school, I already knew that I did want to be a lawyer. It wasn't something that was forced on me. And, you know, it was my choice to do that. And I had already experienced what it would be like to work in the legal profession every single day and really be in the real environment. And I think that's super important for anybody, you know, who has a dream for a certain career. I think you definitely have to intern. Make sure that it's something that you like, because, you know, I want to say 8 hours, but that's a lie. It's more than that. 8+ hours every day on the weekends. You know, being an attorney and running a practice. And if I didn't love it, I mean, I could see, you know, unfortunately, let me speak English. Unfortunately, in our profession, you know, there's a lot of burnout. There's a lot of depression. There's a lot of mental health issues. And I think some of that stems from people not really wanting to be attorneys. They, I think, got to law school and thought, oh my God, I'm here already. I paid all this money. I have to keep going. So I think it's really, really important to intern, you know, talk to people, have lunches, have coffee. People are nice. You know, people are willing to help you. Even to this day, you know, I reach out to people and I have a question, I don't know what to do, or I have a business concern. You know, you've been through this before. Will you have coffee with me? Will you have lunch with me? And you'd be surprised. People are really nice. You just have to, you know, obviously make that effort to get that information. But yeah, I would say definitely the connections are very important.
That's so true. I feel like I would be so scared to ask, like so intimidated to ask people like for help, but that's amazing. Like that you actually went out there and you had like your goal and you just decided to just ask and make connections.
Yeah, and that's part of my business. That's how I get my clients. So I don't advertise heavily on social media, really. I don't advertise heavily on the radio. Majority of my clients come from referrals from other attorneys. And so you have to step out of that comfort zone, even if that person may not, you know, receive it well or like you. But I have to tell you, I haven't had the experience where someone's been like, no, I don't want to help you. No, I don't want to have coffee with you. Because somebody did it for them. You know, somebody did it for them. And so I'm very cognizant about giving back in that way. I go to a lot of panels at the law schools here in Orlando, specifically for the Hispanic American Law Student Association. And I sit on those panels and, you know, I make sure that the students get the information and that they know that they can reach out to me if they have questions about, you know, the practice of law or family law or how to start your own solo practice right out of law school.
Oh my God.
Which is crazy, but, you know, it can be done. I did it, and there are many other people who've done it, and are still here. And so, you know, I think it's important to pay it forward as well.
And that's cool because I know they say like in businesses, after you hit like your 5-year, like you're pretty much settled. Like I mean, you still have to work, but you're already going to be a little bit more established. So that's really good that you already hit that mark.
Yeah, and I'm definitely a joke around like with my friends who just started. I have a friend who's just started a solo practice and she's amazing. Same thing right out of law school. And I joke around with her and I say, you know, I'm the queen of what not to do. So if you need to know what call me because I can tell you because I've probably done it.
Hey, that's how you learn though. That's, you know, the most, like, you make mistakes but you learn from them, so now you know how to like help other people go through that they're going through that.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
So yeah, and I have this year actually I've invested very heavily also in coaching. So one of my very good friends is a business and success coach. And I did some coaching with her so I could, you know, get over some of those mental blocks that you don't even know that you have until you get into that environment, right, with the coach.
Yes.
And then I'm also doing business coaching for small law firms. And I've been doing that since July. And that has, you know, impacted me tremendously as far as like my mental blocks and, you know, little stories I was telling myself for instance, about the staff, I'm like, oh, I can't have all these people. I have to manage all these people. And then I'm going to pay all these people.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm getting over that block because I'm realizing that time is money. And I can't be standing at the scanner scanning. I didn't go to law school. I mean, sorry, it is what it is at this point. You know, my hourly rate, you know, is it's my time is better spent, you know, using my law degree and my experience as an attorney than scanning documents.
Yeah.
And so that's the point that I'm in now is, you know, everything, I tell myself that everything you want, you know, is on the other side of fear.
Definitely.
And so I'm really pushing myself this year to do all of the things that I'm terrified to do that I didn't want to do these last 5 years of my business. And so it's definitely been great for me to invest in those coaching programs. I would highly, highly recommend that. Yeah. To get a great life coach or business coach. I mean, I think that it's taken me farther than I could have taken myself for sure.
Yeah, that always helps. I feel like a lot of people, especially like coming from Hispanic tradition, like I was really like, no, yo lo puedo hacer solo. Like I got this. Like no necesito ayuda. Like, you know, the pride and everything, el orgullo. Like it gets to you, and like I was brought up like that. You know, I don't like asking for help. I'm really like, no, I got this. But like learning from like mentors and, you know, sticking with people that are actually want to help you, like legit want to see you be successful, like that also helps, you know, putting that guard down, and it helps you get like farther along, because when you're by yourself, it's harder.
Yeah, investing in yourself is something that's recommended. So definitely invest in yourselves. Don't be afraid to ask for help. I know, Christina, you're open to share or help or motivate anybody.
Yeah.
Right? So anybody can reach out where? Through social media?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook at C. Alvarez Law. I'm also on Instagram, same thing, C. Alvarez Law. You can go to my website, www.calvarezlaw.com, and leave me a message there. And yeah, I'm willing for any Latina entrepreneurs who, you know, have this dream of going to law school, becoming an attorney. They don't know where to start, or they're feeling, you know, you can feel very insecure about it, you know, feel like doubt yourself, second guess yourself. And so, you know, if there's anybody who needs help with just that component of it, like, hey, I don't think I can do this, I'm not good enough. I'm willing to help you, give you advice, kind of tell you what I did to get over those things.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm here.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Everybody who's tuning in to Insightful Babes, you guys already know. You guys can reach out to Christina if you have any questions. You guys can reach out to us as well. And we're just so excited for this new special guest that we had on right now. Now we get to follow her on her journey, and we get to support each other. So this is amazing. Thank you so much, Christina.
Thank you. You guys are awesome. Have to say really quick, give you both a shout out. I love the podcast. You guys are doing amazing things for Latina entrepreneurs, and you know, talking about the cultural dynamics of everything, which I love, because there's no other podcast out here doing that. And so you guys are doing amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for tuning in to our Insightful Babes podcast. Make sure to stay tuned every single Monday for a new podcast every week.
Okay, bye.